Welcome to another episode. The question is, our willpower is our only weapon. Do you agree? The question is asked. He makes a statement first that our willpower is our only weapon. And the second part of the question is, do you agree with that statement? No, I don't agree with that. Willpower is mind and thought. It is thought which is trying to enforce the control. This is bound to create stress. To a certain extent, perseverance is required in your life. But neglecting other aspects with sheer mental force is bound to create physical and psychological breakdown. So you set a goal, don't look at any other things, enforce it violently on yourself to achieve that, disrespecting other aspects of your thinking, wishes, forcefully do it, you call that willpower. Then that is going to create a physical as well as a psychological breakdown. So instead of that, understanding your craving or your desire is important. That will eliminate the negative aspect instead of pushing in the willpower against it. If one understands that external things are not going to fulfill you, then you won't be craving. Craving will be more and more craving. It does not fulfill you. If you understand that, then it stops craving instead of forcing. Willpower starts with the intention, I must do this. And there is a book called Refuse to Make Yourself Miserable by Albert Ellis, PhD. And it is very important. He has dedicated the whole book almost in various ways. He says, don't say I must do this. Must. That makes you miserable. So that is why he has titled the book Refuse to Make Yourself Miserable. And in that he wants you not to say I must do this. The whole book is almost dedicated to that in various forms. So apart from self-restraint, self-awareness is key. We will see how we can go about it. We cannot elaborate here, but a little bit we'll start with here with a few lines from The Willpower Instinct by Kelly McGonigal, PhD. You will have to go further if you want to understand further or proceed further. A little bit we will explain here. What is willpower? Willpower is the ability to control our attention, emotions, and desires. It influences our physical health, financial security, relationships, and professional success. We all know this. We know we are supposed to be in control of every aspect of our life. From what we eat, what we do, say, and buy. And yet, most of the people feel like willpower failures, in control of one moment and overwhelmed out of the control next. Self-knowledge, especially of how we find ourselves in willpower trouble, is the foundation of self-control. So it is not merely forcing things, but self-awareness is the basis of self-control. Your willpower challenge could be something you have been avoiding or a habit you want to break. You could also choose an important goal in your life that would give you more energy to focus to. I will and I won't are the two sides of self-control. But they don't alone constitute willpower. To say no when you need to say no and say yes when you need to say yes. You need a third power, that is the ability to remember what you really want. So, in the basis of all this willpower conundrum of I must or I must not, or I will or I will not, what is important is to remember what you really want. Willpower has gone from the thing that distinguishes us humans to what it distinguishes between us humans. People who are in better control of their attention, emotions and actions are better off, almost any way you look at it. They are happier and healthier. Their relationships are more satisfying and last longer. They make more money and go further in their careers. They are better able to manage stress, deal with conflict, and overcome adversity. They even live longer. When pit against other virtues, willpower comes at the top. Every willpower challenge requires doing something difficult. Whether it is walking away from temptation or not, running away from a stressful situation. Many temporary states, being drunk, sleep deprived, or even just distracted, inhibit the prefrontal cortex. This leaves us less able to control our impulses. We are also possessing self-awareness, the ability to realize what we are doing as we do it, and understand why we are doing it. Without self-awareness, self-control system will be useless. Consider a smoker who wants to quit. She needs to recognize first the sign of craving and why it is likely to lead her outside in the cold, fumbling with the lighter. She also needs to realize that if she gives in to that craving this time, she will again more likely to smoke tomorrow. One more look at the crystal ball and she will see that if she continues on this path, she will end up with all those horrible diseases she learned about in health class. To avoid this fate, she needs to make a conscious choice not to smoke the cigarette. Without self-awareness, she is doomed. So here, what the author says is, self-awareness is a must. What it means, if there is a temptation of smoking, you should be aware that if you give in to the temptation at this moment, then you will continue that tomorrow, day after, every day, every moment. You will give in to that temptation. So why it leads to you smoke a lot, which leads to a lot of health hazards, which you are aware. Most of us are aware what health hazards are there in smoking. So when we are aware, self-aware at this moment, we want a good health. If that is our goal, if that is our aim, and cigarette is something which is against that goal, it is going to lead you into an unhealthy situation. So when you are aware of that, you automatically stop smoking. You don't give in to the temptation. One time is the step towards many times. Never ending. So it is not enforcing some rule that I won't smoke or I must not smoke, but it is enforcing or self-aware of the thought that you want to be healthy, you want to remain healthy, you don't want to be unhealthy. That is the aim. Then you stop smoking, you quit taking out the cigarettes. If you are distracted, if you are not self-aware, if you are distracted, then you give in to temptations. When your mind is preoccupied, your impulses, not your long-term goals, will guide you. It will guide your choices when you are distracted. When you are self-aware, you will be aware of your long-term goals. But when you are not self-aware, your impulses make the choices. Texting as you stand in the line waiting to order in a coffee shop, you might just find yourself asking for a mocha milkshake instead of an iced coffee. To have more self-control, you first need to develop more self-awareness. A good first step is to notice when you are making choices related to your willpower challenge. So when you are making choices, you should be self-aware. Mainly. If you are not concentrating, if you are not aware, then you make choices on impulses, which mostly is going to be a wrong choice. So this is what the author says in her book. So we understand that it is not an enforced discipline, but being self-aware and making a choice. That is what is required in life, every aspect of life. So with this we will end this episode. Stay with me for another episode. Subscribe to my channel. Share this video. Thank you.